everybody, Matt here and welcome to my fragrance obsession. In this episode tonight I'm going to be telling you guys about a fragrance which I purchased and showed you guys also in my recent purchases video. And this is a scent which I've always wanted and I've never really had the chance to really have because the prices for it have been so high, but recently the prices for this fragrance and other fragrances from this company have come right down. This is a fragrance called Versace L'Homme. Now this fragrance was launched in 1984 and it's considered as a chypre, but a lot of people like to also think of it as a leather woody fragrance. I personally would call it a leather woody fragrance more than a chypre, but you know, a lot of people are different with their opinions. The perfumer for this fragrance is also unknown, but it is rumored that Gianni Versace himself has designed this fragrance, though there isn't any like proof or anything that he has designed it. I guess it's just a rumor, but to think that he would have designed this fragrance is quite a nice thought, but I don't know. But the perfumer is unknown, sadly, so it's kind of crap, but whatever. This is the first fragrance from the house also. Definitely a classic, no doubt about it, but it's also a love-hate fragrance, but I will talk about why it's a love-hate fragrance when I talk about the smell. Let's talk about Versace L'Homme's smell. In the top we get lemon, basil and pimento. In the middle we get cinnamon, cedarwood, patchouli, sandalwood and rose. And in the base we get oak moss, leather, labdanum, tonka bean and vanilla. Actually, let's talk about the bottle design. I actually really like this bottle design. It does get a lot of hate. People think that it looks really boring, a little bit cheap, but you know, I think that there's nothing really wrong with it apart from the cap. I don't really like the fact that you can pretty much see it just looks like it sits on top. It looks a little bit messy, but you know, whatever. As you can see, it doesn't have a cap, it just sprays itself. It's got its own built-in atomizer. We get this silver at the sides here, which I really like. Clear glass, apart from we do get this sort of frosted design right here. Some people think it looks like angel wings. I'm one of the people who thinks it looks like angel wings. My girlfriend thinks that it looks like an arrow, which, come to think of it, it actually does look a little bit like an arrow, but I guess there's a lot of speculation online as to what it is. There's some information on the bottom here. Versace L'Homme, 79% volume, eau de toilette, made in Italy, 100ml, 3.4 US ounce. So, what does this fragrance smell like? Well, here we go. Really good spray, guys, but once I spray, you'll pretty much see that it gives you a lot of it. Check this out. Gives you a blast of juice. Now, this is a really strong fragrance, and you really don't need to overspray with it, so one spray is literally enough for this stuff. Usually I like to overspray on my fragrances, but this is, like I said, a strong fragrance, so do go easy on that atomizer. Now, let's talk about the smell. So, what do I get in the top? Here we go. So straight off the bat, I get this really classic lemon smell. It smells to me like the opening of Chanel Pour Monsieur or something like Armani Au Pour Homme. It's got that sort of classic 80s lemon citrus opening, but it doesn't smell exactly the same, and I guess that's because there's basil in the opening, and I do get the basil quite strongly because it's weird because it gives it this sort of herbal feel. Definitely very different, definitely very unique, and I definitely like it for sure. A lot of people don't like it though. Some people think that it smells, a lot of people have commented actually on this fragrance saying things like it smells like toilet water or something like that. Some people have said that it smells like the inside of a bathroom, a public bathroom. I guess in a way I do get that sort of vibe, but because it's an old fragrance, fragrances like that did have this sort of urine vibe, and I guess, I know that sounds really disgusting the way I say it like that, but it's definitely true. I mean, fragrances did have that vibe back then because it was modern for the time, and the 80s were all about being strong. If you had a man's fragrance in the 80s, it had to be strong, it had to be masculine, it had to be macho. And this is definitely one of those scents, there's no doubt about it. It's a major and classic 1980s powerhouse. So, with the middle notes, the cinnamon is what excites me the most. I don't really get a cinnamon vibe. I guess it's because I'm not there yet, I don't really know how long it takes until we get into the middle, but it smells very woody. I do definitely get that sandalwood in the patchouli, like without a doubt, because obviously patchouli creates a sort of hippie sort of vibe. I mean, obviously it's a very strong and pungent smell, but I do definitely get that. And with rose, I don't really get rose either, but overall the two most detectable notes in the middle is definitely that sandalwood and the patchouli. In terms of the base, well, the base is pretty much very detectable, so you do get that leather. We are getting that labdanum, and that oak moss is also giving this fragrance that classic feel. Because pretty much there's nothing modern about this fragrance. It is literally a classic 1980s scent, so it does fall under that sort of I would say it's more close to the Quorum by Antonio Puig, and it's also very similar to that Chanel Pour Monsieur, but I guess it's only because of the lemon note, but I think that it gives it a barbershop vibe. This fragrance is a classic barbershop, and Quorum is one of my favorite sort of barbershop scents, so I guess that it is a little bit similar because it does have a sort of dirty vibe. And another fragrance which sort of has a dirty vibe is Kouros by Yves Saint Laurent. That one is also a very bombastic fragrance, but I don't think it's... I guess it does kind of fall into that sort of group with fragrances, I think. But overall, I think that this is a very classic, very macho man fragrance. I do think it's also... like, even though I do get this sort of gentleman vibe out of it, I don't think it's necessarily a classy sort of elegant smell. I do think that it's very casual, so I think definitely going out with some friends. If you're a mature guy and you want to go out with a few drinks with some friends, I don't think that this fragrance would be bad. However, don't overspray because, like I said, it's a very strong scent. You don't want to put any people off. But like I said, it's a love-hate fragrance. I mean, it's a little bit like the Dreamer by Versace. Some people like it, some people don't. I love the Dreamer. It's definitely one of my favorite scents of all time. This one, it's not one of my favorites, but I guess it's because I haven't really, wore it enough to really think about it in that way. But I definitely do think that this is a very nice fragrance. It's definitely one that you need to sniff out before you die. It's great. So please check out Versace L'Homme by Gianni Versace. This fragrance came out in 1984. It's a leather woody fragrance. Definitely one that you need to check out. So guys, thank you so much for watching my fragrance obsession. It's been a privilege doing this video with you tonight. It's bye from me.
Bye.
That's Morgan again. I promise guys I will actually put her in some of my videos because I do enjoy doing videos with her, so yeah, there will be one soon, I hope. So thank you so much for watching guys. Take care of yourselves, keep smelling good, and good night.